everybody. Welcome to another episode of the College Football Tailgate with me, XFL Jim, joined by the one, the only. It is Uncle fucking Rico, a.k.a. Erik, a.k.a. at eToft21 Sports. On
Sorry, guys. It is
Instagram.
hot as hell in
Chicago. We're dying.
I got the fan going on in the background, so if it's a little noisy, I apologize. But, I got my AC cranking, I got my fan on. It is hot it's hot here.
It's hot. Fucking dying along the way. Erik, we are finally at the Power 5. Eventually, we'll get around to doing the couple independents that there are. Mm-hmm. Eventually, we will, but that day is not today. Today, we are tackling the Pac-12, Pac-10, whatever the hell you want to call them. There's still 12 as of now.
And before we get started, really big news. I don't know if you heard it because it literally just happened 15 minutes ago. Brett McMurphy reported that Colorado is leaving to go back to the Big 12.
That checks out. I felt that was just kind of like destined to happen.
So let's be honest. 2-3 years and this conference is gone.
Yeah, this conference is dead.
I mean,
so we got UCLA, USC next year. Did they say when Colorado's leaving?
I don't know. Let me look at his Twitter handle.
Your boy Brett? Are you a McMurphy fan?
You know what, dude? He breaks stuff. I have no issue with him.
Yeah, he's good at breaking news.
He hasn't said anything that's like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stupid.
Yeah.
I never think of Brett McMurphy in like opinions. I always just think of him as breaking news.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't say anything stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
he's not like me. I say
the
stupid
Buffaloes
shit every day.
To begin play next year, 2024.
Damn. So the Big 12 will have how many teams next year?
Jesus, like 85.
You lose Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But you get Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Will they have an odd number of teams?
I don't know. No, they have 14. Yeah, they'll have 13.
They're going to have to get one more.
Well, let's be honest. Like, in my head of heads, what I see happening is I see Oregon and Washington going to the Big 10.
That's what I see, too.
I see Utah going back to the Big 12.
Back to?
Where else will they go?
Were they in the Big 12? No, they were never in the Big 12.
Really?
They were in the Mountain West, I think.
Mountain West, my bad. And then I think Arizona and Arizona State go into the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is going to end up having this huge conference now.
Very well. I think the Big 12, SEC, and Big 10 are going to have just like giant conferences.
And I mean, I'm just kind of thinking about it. Like, hypothetically, the schools that are going to get screwed are Cal,
Washington State.
Washington State, yeah. Washington State. Can you imagine if Washington State, Cal, and Stanford have to go down to the Mountain West?
I see it for Wazoo. I can't picture Cal or Stanford as like in that tier of schools.
Maybe Stanford just goes independent. I could see that too.
Yeah. Who knows? Who friggin' knows? This is a weird conference. It's been run poorly for like the last decade and a half. You ready to do some breakdowns, Erik?
I'm ready, man. I am ready.
We're starting off with the Arizona Wildcats with a win total set at 5. We got minus 130 on the under, plus 100 even money on the over 5 wins for your Arizona Wildcats.
Returning 33, 8 offensive, 3 defensive. De Laura is back. He looked good last season. I expect him to take a step forward this season. And it's my hot take. Am I crazy to think that at worst he's the third best quarterback? Potential to be the second best quarterback in the conference. Potential,
no,
but I think
I don't hate that take. I don't hate that take at all.
At worst, he's the third best. Possibly could be the second best in the conference this year.
I don't hate that take.
Running back position, Wiley is back for a senior season. They need him to stay healthy. And let's be honest, the run game struggled when he was hurt. everyone returns. Freshman Coleman should take a big step forward going into his sophomore year. Wide receiver unit will be good. My boy, the UTEP transfer, Cowing, is back for his senior season. He lit up last year. Freshman McMillan set a school record for most yards by a freshman, and their tight end had the best production from a tight end since Gronk was there. I think this is a very talented receiving group, and I think there's going to be some situations where you can play quarterback passing props early in the season. Offensive line, they are losing 2, but one of them was benched for a freshman at the end of the season. I think this unit will be improved. Defensive line, all 4 starters are gone, but they're adding transfers from Cal, Georgia, Indiana, Michigan, and UCLA. So this unit will be improved. Linebackers, they're losing Roberts, who was their best linebacker last season, but they're adding transfers from Oregon and Washington. So even though they're losing their top guy, I think this unit's going to be better than last year. DBs, this is my worry point. They're losing 3, and the talent coming in isn't anywhere near as good as the talent walking out the door. Special teams, everyone is back. I think it's going to take a step forward. Overall, this is year 3 of the coach. This is when I look. This is when I look to bounce on it.
This is your wet spot of a scenario.
This schedule is tough. At Mississippi State. At Mississippi State, USC, and Washington State. And, dude, that brutal 3-game stretch of Washington, USC, and Washington State, I think this is going to be a team that I'm going to bet on a lot. I just don't think this is a team I can get invested in the futures.
So let's get into that schedule that Erik was alluding to. So they start off with Northern Arizona.
That's a win.
Dub. At Mississippi State after that.
That's a loss.
I'm going to call it a loss. I hate it. Me and Chase talk about it all the time when teams have to cross the Rocky Mountains to play.
The old Dixie line?
Well, I always say the Rockies. I put the Rockies as like the cutoff point because I always feel like when teams from the South or the East Coast go to play in the Pac-12, it's not easy there either.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm going to count that as a loss as well. UTEP at home, that's a win.
I think that game could be tight.
I think it's a game I'm going to bet UTEP.
Yeah.
But I think Arizona would win it.
Yep.
At Stanford, like Erik was saying, at Stanford, Washington, at USC, at Washington State.
So I think they're going to beat Stanford. I think they're going to start. Stanford's got a lot of issues going in this year. But right after that, that's 3 straight losses.
I agree with you there like 100%. I think Washington's just a good team. I think they could theoretically beat Washington State if it was at home. But having it be back-to-back away games after playing USC is brutal.
Yeah.
Off the bye week, they get Oregon State at home. It's not easy.
I think that's a loss.
I'm going to be nice and give it to them. I'm going to give them a win there, but that's not like the Pac-12. People shit on the Pac-12, but it is consistently like a pretty deep conference, like competitive-wise.
Yeah.
UCLA at home after that. 4 homecoming.
I think that's a loss.
I also think it's a loss. At Colorado, I'm going to give them a win there.
I think they can win that game. I'll take
Utah at home and then at Arizona State to end the season.
Arizona State, let's face it, that's a rivalry game. That's a coin flip game. Going to come down to whoever has the ball last, probably.
Yeah.
Arizona State isn't that good, but that's a rivalry game.
It's a crazy rivalry game. I'm going to give it to Arizona, but I'm trying to be nice here. So I got them at 1, 2, 3, 4. I got them at 5 on the dot.
I got him at 4. I mean, there's no point. I mean, there's going to be plenty of value later on. And I'll be honest, in terms of the future market, I found this conference very hard to bet.
I feel like everyone kind of like. I don't want to sound like a downer. I feel like USC is going to just be the best team in the conference.
I feel so too. I mean, I think UCLA is interesting with the people they brought in.
I think Washington's good. Utah is always a factor, but like, I think it's those 4 teams like it's been for the last like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I just, I mean, I feel like there's some value. You can get a little sneaky with the way you do some stuff, but I feel this is USC's to lose. They are due for some turnover regression. They were insanely lucky with the turnover department, but I don't know. To me, this was I do not have any futures in this conference.
I forgot to mention, by the way, Arizona 75-1 to win the conference, plus 7,500.
The last time I bet Arizona to win the conference, that was when Kevin Sutherland was there, and they had that mobile quarterback, and I was spacing on his name.
They had Khalil Tate.
Yeah.
Because you remember the year before Sumlin got there, Rich Rod and Khalil Tate had a hell of a year.
And I was like, someone's coming in. This is Johnny Manziel 2.0. Arizona State. Let's
Arizona State win total set at 4.5. It's minus 115 both ways. Future for Arizona State, they are 150-1 to win the conference, plus 15,000. Brutal for the Sun Devils.
Okay. No starter has been named at the quarterback position. They have a guy who started 2 games last season whose name I don't want to butcher because I got hated on for butchering names.
Plus, I love it. I love it when you butcher names, dude.
From BYU and Notre Dame, plus they have a freshman coming in. I read all these local publications and no one was naming a starter when I did my research for this. So I have no idea who the starter is. Running backs. They're losing their starting running back from last season with second team all conference. They're adding transfers from Cal and Sacramento State, but the talent walking in isn't as good as the talent that walking out. Wide receiver, this unit could improve. They are only losing Thompson and adding freshmen from Colorado, Colorado State, Idaho State, Texas, and USC. But the question is, who's throwing on the ball? Offensive line, they're losing 4, but adding 6 transfers, and the career starts are 151. But you have people walking in from different programs. Can this unit gel and be one cohesive unit? I don't know. Potential to be good, but still a question mark. Defensive line, they're losing 3, getting transfers from Michigan State, Oklahoma, Texas, and Wisco. Linebackers losing 2, but the 2 that are big to what the defense did last year. They're big to the scheme that the defense runs. They are adding transfers from Tennessee and Washington. Unit could be similar to last season's DB. This is a strength of the defense and could be one of the better ones in the conference. Special teams are losing everyone, including their returner. This unit's going to take a step backwards. Adding a lot of transfers, but the back half of the schedule is brutal. That could only be 1 win. That means they would have to go 4-2 before the bye, which is doable, but it's hard for me to back a team when I don't know who the starting quarterback is.
Doable for that 4 wins before the bye week is also kind of nuts. Let's get into the schedule. Southern Utah to open up. That's a win.
That's a win.
Oklahoma State at home.
That's a loss.
I'm going to call that a loss. Fresno State at home. That's not. I think Fresno's the better team.
It's a coin flip, dude.
I'm going to give them the win, but I don't believe.
We have to remember.
No Jake Hader.
No Jake Hader. You have a young quarterback coming in, playing in a Pac-12 site earlier in the season. That student body is going to be ruckus. I think that's the coin flip game.
I'm going to give it to Arizona State, but I'm not 100% confident in this. I'm like maybe 55% confident in this. USC at home, loss. At Cal. It's not easy. Another coin flip. I'm going to give it to Arizona State, but man.
I think that's a loss. You don't know who their starting quarterback is.
It's true. And I trust Cal's defense, actually. Give me that as a loss. Colorado at home.
I have no idea. Cal's another team. I have no idea what the hell's going on.
Colorado or Cal?
Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Colorado.
That's a coin flip. I mean, but let's be honest. Best case scenario here is 4-2, right?
Yes. And then off the bye week.
Worst case scenario is what?
1 win.
1-5.
Yeah. And then after the bye week, it's at Washington, Washington State, at Utah, at UCLA, Oregon, and Arizona.
Look at that, dude. At Utah, at UCLA, Oregon at home, then you play your rival.
They don't win. I would not be surprised if they don't win a game
Yeah.
Like after the bye week.
So I mean, I don't know. 3-4 wins for them for me.
Yeah, the under 4.5. I'm actually going to bet it. It's minus 115. I'm going to bet the under 4.5.
It's tempting. That's tempting. Maybe I'll lock that one.
If you can find a minus 4, like flat 4, you might get like some plus money even. It's tempting. It's tempting, right?
Let me see this. Let me see what the
You
best
searching?
one is.
You searching, Eric?
Searching, Jim.
He's on the prowl, folks. What are you pulling up, baby?
So what, is this real? There's no way this is real.
What is it?
There's no way. There is no way that's real.
What?
Plus money?
What?
Plus money in the under 4.5?
You're seeing it?
I'm looking at one shop right now. Let me look.
Are you seeing it? I said if you can find an under 4. 4.5, I'm not seeing plus money. But if you can find like an under just 4 flat, maybe.
I'm looking, Jimbo. I'm looking. Futures. Boom.
Boom. What are we getting, baby? My nips are piercing my shirt in excitement.
Oh, God damn it. This is another book that does it all funky.
Ah.
I miss the days where everything can just be in alphabetical fucking order.
Same. What are we seeing, baby?
I'm looking.
What are we seeing?
I'm looking. I'm still fucking looking.
You're not finding.
I'm still looking. Here we go.
What's the
This
line?
just says regular season wins plus 120. It doesn't even say what the number is. Oh, this is 5. So this one has it at 5.
Okay, so then the under would be like minus 130 or something, I bet.
And minus 150.
Yeah, gross. I'm still taking the minus 115. Up next, a team that's near and dear to my heart. Cal, the Bears. Win total is set at 5.5, minus 160 on the under, plus 130 on the over. Their conference future for Cal is 80-1, plus 8,000. Love me, Berkeley.
Returning 40, 8-9. Sam Jackson is transferring in from TCU, going to be the starter. He's going to surprise everyone with how good his movement is and how strong his arm is. So there's an uptick in the quarterback position. Jaden Ott is back. He had a good season last year as a freshman starter. With the improvement in the offensive line, I think he can rush for over 1,000 yards this season. Wide receiver, they're getting Hunter back, who was their top guy last year. Plus, they're adding transfers from Illinois, Mississippi State, Oregon State, and Washington. So the playmakers have improved. Offensive line, they have 5 starters that have 6 or more career starts. Plus, they are adding a stud from Texas A&M in the Porter. This unit's going to be greatly improved. Defensive line, they're returning everyone. And if they stay healthy, they'll be way better than last year's unit. Linebacker will be better than people realize. They lost their leading tackler, but they're adding transfers from Cal and Florida, so this unit's going to take a huge step forward. DBs, they're losing Scott Hurt, but they're adding 4 in the transfer portal, which will make an impact. This unit will be improved. Special teams, they're adding a new punter and kicker that are better than last year, so the kicking game is going to take a step forward. I like this team before looking at their schedule, and I wanted to bet their win total over, but after looking at the schedule, it's tough as hell.
It's a
they
tough
got
schedule.
Washington, Utah, and Oregon on the road, plus a month stretch where they're playing Utah, USC, and Oregon. It's brutal. This is a team that I would look to bet, but with the way their schedule just sets up, it's just goddamn brutal, dude. I mean,
they are going to win one of those major road games. I'm calling it right now.
October 14th at Utah, by USC at home, and at Oregon. When you have that stuff batched up like that, that's a tall task, dude.
It's rough. It's very rough. Let's get into the schedule. They start off at North Texas. They go to North Texas.
I think that's going to be a win. North Texas, we talked about it, has some questions. They're changing schemes. They could be a little bit sloppy to get go. Cal has a big uptick in the talent in the room. I think this is good, but let's see what that spread is, Jim. But what do you think that spread is?
Cal minus.
Oh, you
10?
think Cal's? Okay, let me see.
Yeah, I think Cal will be favored. I'm going to say minus 10.
September 2nd. Cal.
We're guessing the spread.
Oh, dude, you're right. 8.5 to 10. Look at you. Look at Jimbo.
Yo, look at me. Get it fucking right. That's what's up.
I think we need to retire that sound from the show.
We're never retiring that sound, Eric. We're never. We have plenty of sounds. We won't even retire this sound.
Okay. I have a 1-0 to start.
I do as well. Auburn at home up next.
That's a loss. 1-1.
I'm going to bet them that game, though. I will be betting them that game.
Yeah, I like Wilcox as a dog.
Idaho at home after that.
That's a win.
At Washington.
That's a loss.
Loss. Arizona State.
That's a win.
Oregon State at home. It's probably a loss.
Loss.
At Utah.
Loss.
USC off the bye.
Loss.
At Oregon.
Loss.
Washington State at home.
I think that's winnable.
I think it's winnable too, but I'm going to give it a loss. And then at Stanford, at UCLA.
I think they beat Stanford, lose to UCLA. I think this team's got 5 wins.
I think they either, if they don't beat Stanford, then they do beat UCLA. I also think they very easily, they could end up like beating Washington somehow. I don't know what it is, dude. Wilcox and this Cal team play Washington super tough.
Just kind of F around.
They just do. Like I would not be surprised if they beat like Washington or even UCLA. It would not surprise me. I'm like Eric. I'm standing by you. This is a team I'm going to be betting throughout the season, especially as dogs. But I don't want any part of this win total. It's disgusting. I want to root for him so bad. As I always say, one of the best sandwiches I've ever had, Berkeley, California.
I mean, dude, seriously, dude, you and this, I want to go out. I almost am gonna freaking buy a ticket to Cal just so I can have this goddamn.
Don't go just for the sandwich. I was just up there a lot. If you're gonna go anywhere, go to Los Angeles. Go to Sweet Red Peach. That's where I'll recommend. It's right by the Rams Chargers Stadium. It's right by SoFi. Place is great. Up next, Colorado, to Buffalo, the Fighting Deion Sanders. Win total is set at 3.5, minus 150 on the under, plus 120 on the over. Eric, what do you think their conference futures are for Colorado?
80 to 1.
They are better than their conference odds on BetOnline are better than Arizona, Cal, Arizona State, and Stanford. They are 50 to 1.
Ooh.
Cal was 80 to 1. Colorado 50 to 1. People are steaming up this market.
They're returning a whopping 15. 6 offensive, 3 defensives. Sanders' kid is taking over as QB1. Now look, there's a big talent gap between the SWAC and the Pac-12. It's really going to be interesting to see how he plays. Don't get me wrong. I like the kid. I want him to succeed, but let's just play devil's advocate here. What happens if he struggles?
You think he's pulling them?
I don't think he is.
I don't think so either.
I mean, like that's something when you have your son as the quarterback. RBs, they have 2 transfers coming in. One of them has the best name in football. You ready for this?
Give it to me.
Cavassier Smoke.
I love Cavassier Smoke. Isn't he he's from Auburn, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus Edwards, the freshman, good unit, will be greatly improved from last season. Wide receiver, not sure what they're going to get out of Travis Hunter. What his ratio is going to be. Is he just going to play DB? Is it going to be half and half? You know what I mean? Like, what are we going to see from him? but he's explosive. I want to see him on the field as a wide receiver. Everyone else, huge question marks. Offensive line, they have 2 starters back, adding 6 transfers. Group will be better than last year's unit, but not the top of the conference. Defensive line, this unit was awful last season. They have 8 transfers coming in, can only go up with how bad they were. Linebackers, adding 12 transfers to the linebacker room will be completely different than last season, but obviously will be better because they weren't that good.
They were terrible.
DBs, look, they have 4 transfers and Hunter coming in. So they have 5 transfers. Again, I don't know what we're going to see from Hunter. Is he going to, what, you know what I mean? What is the ratio going to be? How much is he going to play? Is he just going to play DB? I have no idea. Special teams. Guess what, Jim? All transfers for the punter too. So we'll be better. They were bad last season. Look, they can only improve with the talent walking in the door. Okay? They can only improve with how bad they were. But I think it's really unrealistic, and the win total with how it's juiced, for them to make a bowl this year. And we don't know what's going to happen with Sanders in the quarterback group. I just kind of want to sit back, kind of see it. I think it's going to be – I just kind of see what the product is. And who knows? We could all be wrong. Sanders could be this phenomenal coach. He motivates these kids. He has great assistant coaches around him, and this unit takes a huge step forward. But we're having Hunter and Sanders, who dominated the SWAC, going up to the Power 5 level. That's a big jump, dude. There's just too many question marks around this team.
I think Colorado's going to be a team early on in the season that I kind of want to fade against because I feel like a lot of Dion hype's going to be coming into the market.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What's that spread to week 1? Let's get into it. They start at TCU.
Oh, God.
Obviously a loss.
Okay, so is that game – hold on.
It's at Fort Worth.
No. What week is that?
That's week 1, I believe. Yeah, it's week 1.
Well, no, is that week 0 or?
No, that's September 2nd, so I believe it's fully week 1.
Oh my God. Guess that's right.
That's TCU minus 33.
20.5.
Okay. I'm you know what? I'll take TCU. New quarterback, new everything. I don't give a shit. I'll take TCU. That's a loss.
Yeah.
Nebraska at home after that.
You tell me, Jim. You're the resident Nebraskan.
Holy fuck, dude. I don't know. Colorado's been bad when we played them a few years ago, and we were really bad too. Nebraska, also a lot of change going on in the program. I trust the foundation of Nebraska more and the talent that we have. So I'm going to say Nebraska wins.
I'm agree with you. 0-2.
Colorado State.
I'll tell you what.
That's tough.
That's tough. Oh, God.
What's morale in Boulder if they start 0-3?
If they start 0-3, does Dion make it out the year? Because look, hypothetically,
I think he does.
Hypothetically, if they start 0-3, they go 0-5.
Yeah, because after Colorado State, it's at Oregon, USC, at Arizona State, and then Stanford before the bye week. Their best shot of a win is Stanford, in my opinion.
So let's say they have 2 wins going into the bye.
He's sitting real good. He's sitting real good.
Yeah.
If he has 0 wins going into the bye,
let's say he has 2 wins.
Let's give him 2 wins. Let's give him
Okay,
2.
so let's do this. Floor 1. I think they beat Stanford.
Their absolute floor is 0. Colorado was terrible. I know they're bringing in a whole bunch of new. Their floor is 0 wins.
What's their ceiling here?
Their ceiling before the bye week?
Yeah.
3 wins.
Okay.
They could beat Nebraska. There is a shot. They could beat Nebraska. They could beat Colorado State. They could beat Stanford. Their ceiling is 3 wins before the bye.
Okay.
Off the bye week, at UCLA, Oregon State at home, Arizona at home, at Washington State, at Utah.
In my eyes, I think they win one of the games between Oregon State and Arizona.
I'm going to be very generous and give them 1.
I think they can win one of those. But
I think they can.
And who knows? Maybe it's something funky. Utah has been eliminated from any chance of the national championship game. They're locked.
Are they
into
also
the
eliminated from the Rose Bowl contention, though?
Oh, yeah. Fuck. That's true, though.
Like, Utah will definitely still care about a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, I think it's between Arizona and Oregon State. Oregon State being homecoming and Arizona just being, like, Arizona. Their absolute ceiling on the season for me is 1, 2, 3. It's 5 wins is their absolute ceiling.
Yeah. I would definitely lean to the under here.
I would too. But it's juiced to hell.
So.
I'm not going to bet them. I'm going to fade them early on in the season and then kind of see how they're playing. And then I'm probably not going to, honestly, I'll probably not bet Colorado for most of the year. It's kind of just something I want to like see unfold.
Yeah.
It's a very intriguing story. And you will find very few bigger Colorado haters than me. But I am intrigued.
Color me intrigued, Jimbo.
Oh, dude, I can't stand Colorado. I hate him so much, dude. Up next, Oregon, the Ducks. Win total is set at 9.5. The under's juiced to -125. The over sits at -105. Your Oregon Ducks are plus 325 to win the Pac-12 this year.
Returning 39, 8-8. Bo Nix is back, and honestly, for me, this seems like he's been in college football for 25 goddamn years.
He's been in college football forever.
I know people like him, but I'm just going to say I'm not a Bo Nix guy. Running backs are returning their top 3, adding 2 very strong freshmen. Wide receivers, 3 of their top 4 are back, plus they're adding Johnson from Troy, which was a big pickup. This unit will be improved from last season. Offensive line, they're losing their all-conference center and left tackle, plus third-team all-conference right guard and right tackle. They're adding 3 transfers, but the amount of talent walking out the door is hard to replace. Defensive line, they're losing 2, but adding Birch from South Carolina, unit will be improved. Linebackers are losing 2 starters, 2 rotational pieces. One of the players walking out of the door is Sewell, which is tough to replace, but they're adding transfers from Iowa and Arizona State, but replacing the talent is going to be hard. DB, 6 of their top 8 return, but they're losing Gonzalez, which is a huge blow. They're adding 4 transfers, so the talent is there. But look, Gonzalez, top 5 pick, dude. That's tough to replace, man.
Yeah, it is.
Punting was a nightmare for them last season and needed to get fixed because it cost them a game last season and will cost them 1 this season. Overall, I'm not a Knicks guy, so it's hard for me to back this team. They play Washington after a bye. But they have to travel to Utah, which is tough. I think this team will be exciting, but they aren't in the same tier as USC and Utah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I do think that their schedule sets up very interesting, that they could be kind of – that Washington game is going to determine a lot.
Let's be honest. Like, we're looking at this game right now. Realistically, when that game happens – both those teams should be undefeated.
They should be. So let's just go right before that. So they have a bye week, October 7th. Before that, they get Portland State, at Texas Tech, Hawaii, Colorado, at Stanford. At Texas Tech is not easy.
Texas Tech could be difficult. You know, they got some wide receivers. They got some playmakers on the outside. But I will say this:
they should be 5-0.
Wilson from Texas Tech was still there. Game-changing pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
With the struggles, I think the Ducks offensive line is going to have to start the year. I think it's going to be a lot better toward the end. I could see Texas Tech doing something there, but I don't think Texas Tech's going to have the pass rush. So I'm going to give the Ducks. I think the Ducks are going to be perfect going into that October 14th game at Washington.
So when they play at Washington, who are you kind of favoring in there? I kind of favor Washington. The whole prediction thing is hard because you want to see those first 5 weeks to see how Bo Nix is looking. Because if he's just going crazy full Bo Nix, I don't think they're beating Washington. But if he's dialing it back a little bit, he's got a good quarterback in a shell of shit. There's a good quarterback somewhere in there.
Did you just say he's a good quarterback in a shell of shit?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel about Tua.
Well, okay, this show's done, Erik. We're not talking about professional football.
I'm gonna say that's a loss.
I'm also going to call that a loss.
I'm gonna say it. Yeah.
So after Washington State at home, I'm going to call that a win.
Yep.
At Utah, I'm just going to pen in a loss there.
I've already written in a loss, my friend.
Cal at home.
You know what? Call me crazy. I think Cal. So this is when
Cal's live.
Cal's live because hypothetically, you have a college football kids with 2 losses, and you have USC on deck.
And you're sandwiched in between Utah and USC. Yeah.
Live, but I'm not doing anything.
I'm going to give the win to Oregon, but I'm probably going to be betting Cal that week. USC at home, I'm going to call that a loss. At Arizona State, win. Oregon State at home to end the season.
I'm going to say they win. I'm going to say they get some revenge from last season.
I'm going to say they win that one as well. So I have them at 12, 3. I only have them at 3 losses. I have them sitting at 9-3.
Yeah. I mean, which 9-3. Yeah. Agreed.
Its win total's at 9.5.
I'm going to pass.
I'm also going to pass with the under juice to -125. I favor the under a little bit, little lean, but I'm going to be passing on this one. If maybe once the season gets a little bit closer, if we can find like exact conference championship matchups, that could be some fun things to dabble with.
Or some kind of like in the SEC, I bet one team to make the conference championship game. Maybe you could find those odds.
Yeah. Oregon State's up next. The Beavs win total is set at 8.5, -140 on the under, +110 on the over. Oregon State +1,300 to win the conference.
Returning 49, 8-5. Your guy, Jimbo, is going to be their new quarterback this year from Clemson, DJU. And I'll be honest,
that's my guy.
He's your guy. That's your guy.
Okay.
I think this is good for him. Transferred out west, less media coverage. To me, as soon as he started getting more media coverage, this is when he started to struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I could be completely wrong, but that's what I think. I think he's not going to get the mainstream media attention that he got, obviously, at Clemson. I think this is a perfect spot for him, and I think he's going to thrive in this offense at Oregon State. Running back, unit returns everyone, and Martinez, who is Offensive Rookie of the Year, is going to take a huge step forward. Wide receivers, they really don't have that guy. You know what I mean? They really don't have that alpha. Musgrave only played 2 games last season, so losing him really isn't going to hurt that much. Will be on the shoulders of Gold to be the chain mover. Offensive line, going to be one of the better units in the conference, only losing 1 and adding a key transfer from Nevada. Defensive line, they're losing Sandberg, which is a big loss, but adding Taylor from junior college. I don't think this unit is going to be able to create as much pressure as it did last season. Linebackers are returning 2 and losing Space, who is all conference, which is tough to replace, but they're adding transfers from Illinois and Wyoming to lessen the blow, but this unit's going to take a step backwards. DB should be better than last year's group as 5 of their top 8 return. They need to stay healthy, though. That was their big issue with them last year. Special teams are losing their punter, who is the best in the history of the school. So with that being said, I think this unit's going to take a step back. Overall, I think this team, with the schedule's
nice,
is a dark horse. I think with the schedule, I think they're a dark horse because when you look at it, I mean, what are their road games? Washington State, Cal, Zona, Colorado, Oregon. So they got 5 road games. And whose name didn't I mention? USC.
They don't even play USC.
I didn't mention Utah.
Get them at home.
They have Washington at home. The only worry point of the schedule is that Washington and Oregon back to back.
It is worrying.
I think this team, but I mean, again, like if I'm playing an Oregon State to win the Pac-12 and you have teams, I mean, think of how highly ranked when the first AP poll comes out. USC, Washington,
Yeah.
and Oregon are going to be how high rated they're going to be. And you're only giving me what, 11-1 on Oregon State?
13.
13? I mean, I wanted a 20, dude.
I agree with you there. To make the conference championship, they are plus 650.
Yeah. No, too low.
I'd want that to be like 10-1, right?
Way too low, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the team that interests me in this conference.
They're intriguing for sure. I just feel like we maybe missed the number on them. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh no, I've been watching this number, dude.
It's been around here the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking right now. I'm seeing 11. Some shops dropping it to 10 right now.
Yeah,
they have shorter odds than UCLA.
That's bananas. That makes me maybe want to bet
UCLA. DTR is gone. You're losing Cabernet. I get it, but still, like, I think odds are too short for me. But I think this is a team that's going to be live in a lot of games.
Agreed. Very much agreed. Let's get to the schedule. At San Jose State to start the season. Win. I commend these Pac-12 teams for actually traveling to the G5 schools, though.
Yeah, I think that's a win.
UC Davis at home, win. San Diego State at home, I got them at 3-0.
I got them at a juicy 3-0 too.
At Washington State after that.
That's a win.
That's a win, but it's not a gimme because it's right before getting Utah at home. I'm going to call it a loss.
I'm going to call it a loss too.
At Cal and then UCLA at home right before the bye week.
They could go 2-0 right there.
They could. I'm going to give them 1-1.
Okay.
Off the bye week, it's at Arizona, at Colorado. 2 wins.
And they're beating Stanford. Stanford's bad.
And Stanford after that, at home, win. And then to finish the season, Washington at home, at Oregon. They could go 0-2 there.
Yeah, they could. But again, like, hypothetically, let's say Washington's already lost, like, already out of it. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I think for sure they lose to Oregon.
I think they go 1-1 there. I think they lose one of them. I think Oregon's probably the one that they lose to for sure.
But if Washington is fully alive at that point, I think they lose that game. But this is kind of toward the end of the season where Washington came in with these national championship hopes. Penix came back, hopes to win the Heisman. You know, that's the thing. Like, at the end of the schedule where you're playing these quote unquote powerhouses, if they're out of the Pac-12 title, can't really get a New Year's Day 6 thing, what's the effort we're going to be getting from these guys at this point of the season?
That's a fair point. I'm going to have them go 0-2 there, but
yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got them at 8 wins.
I got them at 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have them at 9.
I got them at 8 wins. The total's 8.5.
This is just a pass, dude. You know, just
this is another pass. The past 12.
This is
It's the past 12, Eric.
All right, get to the worst team in college football.
They're so bad. At least the worst Power 5 team. It's Stanford. It's the Cardinal. The win total is set at 3. It's set at 3, and the under is juiced to minus 170. The over is plus 140. Stanford, Eric. They are 100-1 to make the conference championship. Not only that, again, tied with Arizona State, 150-1, and I think those odds aren't long enough.
Returning 39, 3-3. Unclear who the starter is going to be, but whoever it is going to be inexperienced. Running back, E.J. Smith. Yes, that's right. Emmitt Smith's kid is back after missing all of last year after suffering an injury in the USC game. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to have a good season. And then I'm going to be honest, he's gone. He is definitely, I think this kid's gone. I think he's going to be transferring someplace else. Wide receiver, inexperienced. Their number 3 guy from last year is the top returning starter from last season. Unit's going to take a huge step backward, no alpha in the room. Offensive line losing pretty much everyone from last season. This unit is young and inexperienced. Jim, guess how many career starts this unit has?
22.
15.
Yikes.
Defensive line, they're switching schemes. And I think because of the switch in schemes, I think they're going to take a huge step backwards. Heron is also moving to linebacker, so one of their better defensive ends is moving back. Linebackers, this will be the strength of the team. Like I said, Heron is moving back here. They're adding a transfer. They're adding a transfer from FIU. That was their big haul. Their leading tackler will be the strength of the defense. DBs, they're returning no one, will be the worst unit in the conference. Losing their punter, but he only had a net average of 38.3, but a true freshman starting, so this is going to be an adventure. Overall, the years of this program where you could take it certain years to make a conference run, certain spots you could bet them, is done. This team has no NIL money. Because of that, they're never going to really get anyone in the portal. The only way they'll get someone in the portal is if someone wants to go there for academics. But they're not going to be able to get any top-tier guys. I think this program is going to – I'm trying to think of like a constant but going to kind of turn into what Vanderbilt is like a couple years. You remember when Vanderbilt last year?
Yes.
But before that, they're going to kind of turn into Vanderbilt.
What Kansas was.
Yeah, what Kansas was. Just the bottom tier team in the division.
What year how far back do you think you have to go for Stanford to have a winning season?
Oh, my God. 4 or 5 years?
4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, 5 years ago. 2018. They were 9-4 in 2018. Since then, haven't won more than 4 games.
And I'll be honest, this is why David Shaw left. Shaw's been adamant about the NIL, improving how to get players in, and the school just wouldn't budge. And that's fine, dude. If you want to be an academic school, that's fine. But that's why
you're not going to be good at football.
You're not going to be good at football if you're at which is fine. You know, I don't care. You know, you got to do what you got to do. Stanford, if you have that diploma from Stanford, hey, man, you're walking into a 6-figure job. More power to you. But I'm just saying this is a football show. And there's no way this team's going to be good at football next year.
No, it is not. Let's start off this schedule. They start off the season at Hawaii.
You know what? I think that they're going to lose that game.
I think Hawaii's live, but I'm going to give it to Stanford. Hawaii's really bad.
Dude, Stanford's worse.
Stanford's really, really bad, too. I'm going to be rooting for Hawaii. I'm going to be betting Hawaii, but I'm going to give it to Stanford here.
You know what? I'm going to look. Let's play Guess That Spread. Oh, my God. If Hawaii's getting points, man.
Stanford's going to be getting Stanford minus 4.5.
Hawaii plus 10?
Oh, give me Hawaii straight up. What's that money line, dude?
Only 300.
I'll still take it.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that all day, but Jesus.
Yeah, I'll be betting that. At USC afterwards.
I heard they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're decent. That's a loss. Sacramento State at home, though.
That's a win. I have them at 1-2 right now.
Thank God they're not playing Davis. I think UC Davis actually might give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
Arizona at home after that. Loss.
That's a loss.
Oregon at home after
loss.
Bye week. At Colorado after the bye. After the bye.
Loss.
Yeah. UCLA at home for homecoming.
Loss.
Washington.
Loss.
At Washington State.
Guess what?
Loss. At Oregon State.
Guess what? Loss.
Cal at home.
Loss.
I'm going to say it's a loss. That's a crazy rivalry game, so no one knows. Like, anything can happen in there. I'm going to call it a loss, but Notre Dame to end the season.
I'm going to call that a loss, too.
I'm going to call it a loss, too. Notre Dame wants that revenge, dude.
I have them winning 1 game against Sacramento State.
I got them at best 3 wins. At best.
I got them at best 2.
Their ceiling is 3 to me. They could beat Cal. That's a weird, freaky rivalry game that weird shit happens. Again, I'm staying away. The under is not what I want. Not going to touch anything with conference futures with Stanford. They're disgusting. Let's just move on to a better team. UCLA, Eric, the Bruins. Win total is set at 8.5, minus 130 on the over, plus 100 on the under. UCLA odds to win the Pac-12 sit at plus 750.
Returning 38, 7-9. Quarterback, they're losing another one of your guys.
He is one of my guys. I love DTR so much, dude.
They added the quarterback from K-State. But I read an article that Moore, a freshman, he could be the starter.
He could, yeah.
So they could be starting a freshman quarterback. Obviously, Cabernet is gone. They did add Ball State's top guy. Huge pickup. I think he's in line for a huge season. Definitely we're going to be looking to bet his rushing overs to start the year. Wide receiver, they're losing. Their top three are gone, but they're adding transfers from Cal, their top wide receiver. Oregon and USC, I think this is going to be a good unit. Offensive line was great last season, but they were missing two stars and adding transfers from Colorado, Purdue, and ODU. I think this unit was going to be just as good, maybe even better as last season. Defensive line, they're losing one rotational piece from last season, adding two big-time transfers. This is a good D-line and could be one of the better ones in the conference. Linebackers, they're losing one starter and one rotational piece, plus getting back a big-time transfer from Cal. This unit will be good. DBs, they're losing two safeties, but bringing in Anderson from Bowling Green, I think this unit will be on the same level as last year. Special teams, unit was an adventure in the kicking game last season, but they're adding a new kicker and punter who are both good. I think they'll take a step forward. Overall, 3 tough road games. They'll play Washington, Oregon, 8-9. I think that's it for them.
I really think the schedule actually sets up pretty nicely for them.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Before the bye week, Coastal Carolina at home, at San Diego State, NC Central, and at Utah.
I'm trying to find their schedule, man. All right. I have them 3-0 to going into Utah.
Yeah, I also have them 3-0 going into Utah. I'm gonna give them the loss at Utah, though.
I totally agree with your thesis.
Especially since you remember last year when they out Utah at home.
They out Utah at home.
Do you remember that game, dude? They played beautifully. That UCLA offensive line was just mwah. It was sexy.
All right, let's play guess that line. Week 1 against Coastal.
UCLA minus 22.5.
15.5.
I guess you know who I'm betting. Off the bye week, Washington State at home.
I think that's a win.
I think that's a win. At Oregon State.
I think they're going to lose that game.
I gave them a win there. And that's at Stanford.
I think that's a win.
Win. Colorado at home.
Win.
I call that a win. At Arizona.
Win.
Win. Arizona State at home.
Win.
Win. At USC.
Loss.
And then Cal at home. Win.
So I got them at 3 losses. I have them 9-3.
I got them 10-2. I think their ceiling's probably 10-2. Because if they beat USC or Utah, they're gonna fuck up one of these winning games.
If they beat USC, they're gonna lose to Cal.
They'll lose to Cal, or they'll lose to Arizona State beforehand.
Yeah, agreed.
Plus 750 to win the conference. If I wasn't so confident in the teams that are above them in USC, Utah, and Washington, I'd probably take a feeler on that.
No, not me.
But I feel like it's really just a 3-horse race.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, up next is USC. Win total, Erik, set at 10. 10 wins, minus 120 on the under, minus 110 on the over. They're your favorite. They're your conference favorite. They're plus 200 to win the Pac-12.
Oh, they have this quarterback. He's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Have you ever heard of him, Caleb Williams?
No, it doesn't ring a bell. No.
He won this award called the Heisman. He's going to be back. Now, it's year 3 in the offense. Obviously, I think he's going to take a big step forward. So an article came out. Do you know how much money he makes playing there? How much NIL money he's walking away with?
2 mil?
12.
What the no, what?
He's getting $12 million.
Now,
Okay.
my question to you, is that worth it?
What do you mean?
As a school, is it worth paying a player that much money?
Well, I mean, he brought him the Heisman. Look at all the revenue he's bringing in.
Is he bringing in $12 million worth of revenue?
In television, television getting into the big
television. Yeah, he is the main guy.
So let's do this. So I'm bringing right now. Bryce Young's contract breakdown
With the Panthers?
by year, because he was the top pick. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. So, I mean, 6.9, 8.6, 10, 12. So a total of $37 million. So so hypothetically, right now, Caleb Williams is going to be the top pick.
Yes.
What's to say that he just says, hey, you know what? Arizona has a top pick, or whatever franchise. Let's say it's Arizona. Arizona's going to be terrible this year.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to go to Arizona. I think they're going to be terrible. I think I'm going to wait. I want to come back. Can you give me $14 million? I think there's a realistic possibility, as crazy as it sounds,
that's fucking bizarre.
That Caleb Williams could come back to USC for another year.
14 mil for one. Like, I don't understand how, as a college, if that's like, I get all the power to him, good for the players. I don't know if he's bringing in that much money.
All right. How much is Big Ten football contract with NBC?
Oh, that's going to be nuts.
They're each paying $350 million per year.
Per, like, what do you mean?
I'm a sneeze, excuse me. CBS and NBC are playing around $350 million per year.
So you're getting a cool 700 mil.
So 700 mil. There's 14 schools in the Big Ten. Okay.
Well, 16.
16. What?
Is it 14 with USC and UCLA added? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 700 divided by 14. They're bringing in $50 million in revenue.
The contracts are. I'm wondering how much one player is worth.
I mean, think about the jersey sales, the Heisman, dude,
14 mil is a lot of fucking money, dude.
He's worth it, man. He's worth it, dude.
But you're only,
and it's the alumni. It's the alumni that are paying him, dude.
No, I'm not. Like, they could pay it all they want. I'm just trying to see, like, they're paying more than like an NFL contract.
They are. As crazy as it sounds.
Like, that doesn't make sense. You're getting a year's worth, like, you're getting an extra year out of him, but you don't get him for, like, you don't have a contract with him.
Yeah, I get it, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, moving on. Running back. Dye is gone. It's going to be Austin Jones who will start out as a starter, but it wouldn't shock me if freshman Quentin Snyder is the alpha by the time the season ends. Wide receiver, I know they lost Jordan Addison, and everyone is going to be like, Uncle Rico, go on your rant about not having a chain mover. But they added Singer from ASU, who I think is going to slide right in there, be the number one role. They added 2 talented freshmen. This room is freaking talented. And plus, you have the best quarterback in the country, arguably throwing him the ball. Offensive line, they're losing 3, but they're adding 3 transfers who will have experience. This unit will drop compared to last year's, but it's still going to be good compared to what else is in the conference. Defensive line, they're losing 3 from last year's team. One of them was the Pac-12 player of the year, but they're adding 4 Power 5 transfers and Mohammed from Georgia State. This unit is losing a ton, but the transfers are lessening the blow. I think it's going to be slightly worse because they're losing the defensive player of the year. Linebackers, this unit is going to be greatly improved from last season. They're adding Cobb from Oklahoma State to go along with the 3 starters that are returning and 2 stud freshmen that are walking in the building. Solid unit. DBs, they're losing Blackman, who was their shutdown DB last year, but they're adding transfers from ASU and Bama, which will help. Getting Bullock back, who was honorable mention All-American, that's going to be a big help for this unit. Special teams, Lynch is back to be the kicker. We should see the freshman to sophomore bump from him. Plus, they're adding Zona's punter from last season, who averaged 46 yards a kick. I think this unit's going to be greatly improved. Tough schedule as they get Notre Dame and Utah back to back, and Washington and Oregon back to back. Last year in the conference, teams are going to have their best game against them. They're going to want to beat USC. They were plus 22 in turnovers last year.
That's what I was going to mention. They were extremely lucky last year, too.
Yeah, I know. And I would.
Do you trust a Lincoln Riley defense?
No. No. I would lean to the under here.
I would also lean towards the under. Let's get into the schedule. San Jose State and Nevada and Stanford before your bye week. 3-0.
I think that's 3-0.
Off the bye week, it's at Arizona State, at Colorado, and then Arizona.
I think that's 3-0.
I think they're 6-0 going into Notre Dame.
But this is the tough part. Notre Dame and then Utah back to back.
They backfilled their schedule. Aside from that Cal break between Utah and Washington, listen to this. At Notre Dame, Utah, at Cal, whatever, Washington, at Oregon, UCLA. They really they backed in their the tough part of their schedule for the last half.
I would definitely. What was their win total under?
10.5.
I would lean to that under.
Minus 120. Sorry, it's a flat 10. It's just a flat 10. Minus 120.
I'd lean that under.
Minus 120. I actually might bet that. I'm going to add that to the list. I got to bet something here, Eric. I got to bet something in this conference.
Dude,
plus 200 to win the conference, whatever.
Trying to be disciplined, Jimbo. I'm trying to be disciplined.
I'm letting it loose a little bit. Up next, we have the Utah Utes. Win total is set at 8.5, minus 130 on the under, plus 100 on the over. Utah is plus 600 to win the Pac-12 this year.
Returning 47, 7-9. Cameron Rising is back after suffering that knee injury in the bowl game.
Love me some Cam Rising.
If Utah can piece it together, I think he could be a finalist in New York. I think he could, potential.
He's good. He's real good.
I think this could be a breakout season for Jackson, who's switching from the quarterback to the running back position. He did it last year. Second year, he had 2 games where he rushed for over 1,000 yards, 100 yards, 2 games. I finished as our 3rd leading rusher. I think this is going to be the season we really see him take that jump second year in. Glover has been at the talk of the camp, so I expect the freshman is going to get some run. 2 wide receiver, they're losing 4 of them. And one of them was Dalton Kincaid, but they're adding 3 transfers from Power 5 conference. I mean, but Kincaid was so big to this offense, man. With the catches he was able to make in critical situations, made a big catch in the Pac-12 championship game against USC. I just kind of feel that, hey, it's going to be hard for them to match the production from last year's. Offensive line, they're losing 2, but, you know, when you think of Utah, you think trenches. And I think this offensive line, even though they're losing 2 of them, I think this unit is going to be just as good, if not better than last year's. Defensive line, look, one of the better ones, returning 7 of the 8. Solid defensive line unit. Linebackers losing their top 2 from last year's team, but they're adding the defensive captain from Stanford. That will lessen the blow, bring some leadership into the room. I think this unit's going to be a little bit worse, but with how good the D-line is, I think it's going to hide some of their weaknesses. They're losing All-American Phillips, which is a big blow in the DBs, but they are returning an experienced group, and they're adding transfers from Ole Miss and USC. I think this unit has the potential to be better than last year's, even though they're losing Phillips. Special teams, they have a new kicker in Cole who's transferring in from Colorado, but their punter only had a 37.9 net average last season. That needs to improve. Overall, I think that this year's team could be TCU. And instead of playing them to win the Pac-12, I think you're better off playing them at 50-1. I think they're worth a 50
plus 900 to make the playoffs.
Oh, so I like that too.
Yeah, they are. So yeah, plus 900 to make the playoffs.
I like that too.
I might dabble with that. They're 50-1 to win the Natty.
Yep, I saw 50-1.
I might dabble with that too. I like both those better than to win the conference. Let's get into this schedule. Florida at home to start the season. I'm gonna call that a win.
You know what? Florida's got some stuff, man. I don't like. Napier really hasn't done that good. I'm a little bit disappointed.
A little bit, right? Because I love Billy Napier at Louisiana.
I mean, maybe he's, you know what I mean? So I'm going to give that a pass. I think I'm going to give it a win, excuse me.
I'm going to give him a win, too. Also, revenge for last year.
Yep.
At Baylor. I favor Utah.
You got to favor Utah there.
Weber State.
That's a win.
UCLA at home. That's homecoming. Win.
I got them 3-0.
At Oregon State before the bye week. I'm going to have them 4-0.
I'm going to have them perfect. No, that's 5-0. Excuse me. 5-0 going into the bye.
Oh, yeah. 5-0. My bad. And then Cal off the bye.
I think that's a win, too.
6-0. At USC.
You know what? I think this could be a loss.
I think, yeah, so I would say in the regular season, I'm going to chalk it up as a loss. If this were the conference championship game, though, I think Utah steps it up like we saw last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a loss here. Oregon at home afterwards, I'm going to call that a win.
I'm going to call it a win, too.
Arizona State after that, also calling a win.
Yep.
At Washington.
I think tough.
I'm going to call it a loss. At Arizona and then Colorado at home are both wins.
Yep.
I think realistically, like, this team could easily go 10-2.
I could see that. I like 10-2.
I could very easily see 10-2. I'm going to bet the over 8.5 at plus 100. Even money.
It's 8.5?
8.5, dude.
No way.
8.5 on Bet Online. Plus 100 on the over. 8.5.
Oh, well, I'm seeing plus 115 here.
Whoa.
Shit. Looks like I got a bet.
Uncle Rico has a bet. Uncle Rico has a bet, everybody.
Looks like I have a bet.
Hey.
Goddamn conference. Bill Wallen should be proud of me. Conference of fucking champions.
Conference of fucking champions. Up next, your Washington Huskies. Win total is set at 9.5, minus 140 on the under, plus 110 on the over. They are your second place team to win the conference at plus 265.
Whew. Returning 51, 7-8. Michael Penix is back, and my boy Greg from Penn State on 3 was on my stream a couple weeks ago.
Love Michael Penix so much.
And he told me, he goes, what you should do, and this is what he's going to do, is if you think Washington's going to make the college football playoffs, you need to find a Penix Heisman bet.
I don't think those are super great odds either, though.
He got Penix at 12-1.
That is better. So to make the playoffs, they're 6-1.
I know, but he's saying if you think they're going to
I'm saying I thought he was shorter on the Heisman is what I was saying.
What is he on the Heisman?
Let me see what he's at now for the Heisman. But just to reiterate, to make the playoffs, they are 6-1. Let's see. Michael Penix, where are you at, baby? 18-1. 18-1.
I think that's good value.
I don't hate that. Yeah. You think they give it back to Caleb Williams again?
No. And we pointed out USC is a backloaded schedule, and like there's bias in these judges.
Oh yeah, later in the season matters way more.
So if Washington is competitive, Penix is playing well, and USC struggles, it's there. I think I completely agree with my boy Greg that Penix to win the Heisman is worth a floater. I already have my guy. I have one team I am insanely in on this year, and you're going to hate me when I tell you.
Can you tell me what conference they're in?
No.
God damn it.
Running backs. They're losing their leading rusher, but they're adding transfers from ASU and Mississippi State. So I think this unit's going to be better, as crazy as it sounds. Wide receivers are returning their top 5, and Bernard, who signed with Washington, then enrolled at Michigan State, played one season at Michigan State, is transferring back to Washington. So I think this could be one of the sneaky good units, could potential to be one of the best one in the conference. Offensive line, this unit's going to take a huge step backwards as they're losing 3 starters. That's the worry point of the offense. Defensive line, losing 1. Everyone else is returning. However, the one they lost was an all Pac-12 player. Linebackers, they have 2 stars returning. Getting a transfer from USC will make this unit better than last year's. DBs, they're losing one of the 2 is second team all conference Alex Cook, but that will hurt by adding Mohammed from Oklahoma State. So they're losing 2, but one of them was Alex Cook. But they're gaining Mohammed from Oklahoma State, who will lessen the blow, but he's not as good as Cook. Punter and kicker are back. Per reports, they've improved from last season. However, the returner is gone, which will hurt. Overall, this team I would like a lot more if they didn't have USC and Utah back-to-back. I think Penix to win the Heisman is worth a small stab.
I agree with that. It's worth a floater.
It's worth a feeler. That's what we call in the business.
Yeah, it's worth a little feeler. Let's get into this schedule. They get Boise State at home to start the season.
All right, let's just skip to it. They're perfect going into Oregon.
Yeah, so it's Boise State, Tulsa, at Michigan State, Cal, Arizona. It's perfect.
And I'm just letting everyone know that I've been invited to this Michigan State game. I think I probably stayed till the second quarter, and then I leave.
Probably. Do you think Game Day has a shot at going to going to like Oregon, Washington, going to Seattle?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, they're both going to be undefeated, both with like playoff aspirations.
Let me.
What else is going on that week?
Pull it up, Big Dog. Big Dog.
That's week 7.
Big Dog. Let me pull it up, Big Dog. Scores. Week 7.
Week 7. Let's see what's big on week 7. They're going to go to Michigan State Rutgers. That's the game.
UMass Penn State. Oh,
yeah,
USC Notre Dame. USC Notre Dame.
Ah, fuck yeah! They'll go to USC Notre Dame.
Arkansas Alabama.
I bet they'd go to USC Notre Dame.
Texas A&M Tennessee. Auburn LSU.
Probably not. I'm gonna make my bet right now. They're going to USC Notre Dame.
Florida Atlantic SMU at Southern Florida.
There you go. That's the one. I have Washington beating Oregon.
I do too.
Arizona State after that. Win. At Stanford?
Win. So undefeated.
Now, at USC,
they're going to lose.
And Utah back to back.
Lose one of these next 2 games.
They could very easily go 0-2. I'm going to have them go 1-1, and then it's at Oregon State and Washington State at home to end the season.
If that Washington State game was on the road, I think they lose it. But I think this team loses 1 game.
I think this team loses 1, maybe 2. Their floor is their absolute floor to me is 9-3.
But I will say this. With the odds on the board, I think Penix 18-1 worth a flyer. The guy I picked to win the Heisman, better price. Teaser for next week I gave it out. Teaser for next week in the Big 12.
Oh, we're doing the Big 12 next.
Yeah, right?
Who knows? It could be them or the ACC, whichever one you think is worse.
I think we should do the Big 12 because that's the one I have notes done for.
Let's do the Big 12, though. We'll do the Big 12. So there you go, people. Big 12 coming up next. I like the Washington over 9.5 plus 110.
I like that bet, too.
I'm going to be betting that. I also do like the Michael Penix Heisman at 18 to 1. And I will be taking that. I will be betting that. Up next, Erik, it is Washington State Wazoo. The Cougs. Win total is set at 6.5, minus 175 on the under, plus 145 on the over. Their conference odds sit at 45 to 1, plus 4,500.
We're turning 39, 7-5. Ward is back and behind a train wreck offensive line last year. He threw for over 3,000 yards last season. With the improvements in the offensive line, I think this will lead to Ward to having another good season. Warding back, leading rusher Watson is back. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. With the improvements to the O-line, I think you could have a better season. Wide receivers, they're losing their top 4, and I know they're bringing in a ton of transfers, but these guys have zero connection with Ward and have never been a top guy in the offense. I think this is going to be some regression here. Offensive line, everyone is back but one more experienced unit than last season. I think we're going to see big improvements. Defensive line, this unit will be better than last year's unit as Jackson and Stone, who were first and second team all-conference return, plus they're getting a big-time transfer from Colorado. Linebackers unit is going to struggle. The transfers they brought in from their previous schools weren't starters. This is going to be the weakness area for the Cougars. DBs, 3 starters are back, and freshman Hicks should take another step forward. Going into his sophomore year, this unit's going to improve from last season. Special teams, everyone is back. They were 6-3 and have a negative yards difference in conference, which is concerning to me. But you know what? When you look at their schedule,
it's not bad.
They're missing USC and they're missing Utah, so it is doable.
They get UCLA off a bye.
It is doable.
Let's get into the schedule. They start at Colorado State.
That's a tough game. That's a real tough game, dude.
It's not easy.
And they're laying like 16.
I'm going to bet Colorado State.
I'll be betting Colorado State, but I'm going to call it a win.
I'm going to call it a win in a game that shouldn't be as close as it's going to be. Wisconsin at home.
That's the loss.
I'm going to say it's a loss, but they could easily win that game. Again, it's this team's crossing the Rocky situation. Northern Colorado and Oregon State before the bye week.
I think they could win both of those.
I think they could go 4-0. I'm going to have them 3-1 before the bye.
Yeah.
Off the bye week, it's at UCLA.
And I think they're going to lose that game.
I think they're going to lose that one too. Arizona at home afterwards, though.
I think they're going to lose that. No, win it. Excuse me.
I'm going to think they're going to beat Arizona. Then it's at Oregon, at Arizona State.
They could easily go 0-2 right there.
They very easily could. I'm going to have them beating Arizona State, though.
Okay.
Stanford at home.
Win.
At Cal.
Ripe for the picking, but I think that's a win.
Again, same. I think I'm going to give it to them. And then Colorado at home, and then at Washington.
They'll beat Colorado, lose to Washington.
So I got them sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4. I got them at 8 wins.
Boom.
Their ceiling to me is 9.
Yeah.
But I got them at 8. Could easily see 7. I'm going to bet the Washington State over 6.5. Plus 145.
I am not going to bet that over, Jim. Can't do it.
I'm betting it, bitch.
Can't do it.
I'm betting it, bitch. Don't worry. I'll bet it for you. I'll bet it, baby.
Okay.
Not going to touch Washington State at 45 to win the Pac-12.
I'm not going to touch that one either, my friend.
No, thank you. Erik, that's the Pac-12. What's your favorite bet for the Pac-12?
My only bet. Utah over 8.5.
Yeah, my bets. I like Utah over 8.5. I like Michael Penix Heisman. I'm gonna actually do that one. Arizona State under 4.5, and USC under 10, and Washington State over 6.5.
Jimmy, just deep. You know what? I'm gonna throw a little bit on Penix Heisman.
And Washington over 9.5.
Yeah. No, not that one for me. I'm just going to throw it.
I'm doing that one. I'm doing that. Erik, we made it. We're in the Power 5 territory.
I love the Power 5.
I feel like we have more bets in the group of 5 like we always do.
I know. I know.
I love it all. Erik, where can the people find you?
At eTalk21 on all social media.
Y'all know where to find me. XFL Gym, everywhere. Anything can be found. You guys know where to find Chase when he's here at Of Oaklawn. Everywhere. You guys know where to find us. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week for another episode of the College